Mining Outpost Theta-7 was never meant to be anything special. Carved into the asteroid belt of the Proxima Centauri system, it was just another resource extraction facility in humanity's expanding frontier. But extraction specialist Naomi Rhodes knew something was different the moment her sensors picked up the anomalous energy signature. "Control, I'm picking up unusual readings from Sector 14, she reported, adjusting her environment suit's filters. The dark tunnel ahead shimmered with an ethereal blue glow that her instruments couldn't quite classify. "Permission to investigate?" Director Jackson's gruff voice crackled through her comm. "Granted, but maintain safety protocols. We don't need another incident like Beta 3. Naomi advanced carefully, her boots magnetized to the metal walkway. The glow intensified as she rounded a corner, and there, in a natural cavity of the asteroid, she found something impossible. A crystalline egg, nearly 2 meters tall, pulsing with internal light. "Director, you're going to want to see this." Within hours, the cavity had been transformed into a makeshift research station. Dr. Kamal Patel, the outpost's lead xenobiologist, moved his equipment in with barely contained excitement. "The biological readings are off the charts," he reported, his dark eyes gleaming behind his protective visor. "Whatever's in there, it's alive, and it's nothing like we've ever encountered." The egg's crystalline surface was warm to the touch and seemed to respond to nearby movement, its internal light brightening when approached. But it was what their deep scans revealed that truly stunned them. A creature with a skeletal structure reminiscent of extinct Earth dragons, suspended in a nutrient matrix that was rapidly depleting. "It's starving," Dr. Patel announced during the emergency staff meeting. "The matrix that sustained it is breaking down. Without its original nutrients, it won't survive another week." Director Jackson leaned back in his chair, his weathered face grave. "Can we synthesize what it needs?" "The molecular structure is too complex," Dr. Patel shook his head. "We'd need a fully equipped xenobiology lab and months of research. We don't have either." The implications hung heavy in the room. Outpost Theta-7 was 3 months from the nearest major facility. Their supply ship wasn't due for another 6 weeks. They had neither the resources nor the expertise to save the creature. "We should contact Earth Command," suggested Security. Chief Martinez, her hand unconsciously resting on her sidearm. "This could be first contact material." "No," Director Jackson's response was immediate. "The last thing we need is corporate getting involved. They'll shut down our operation, quarantine the facility, and we'll all be out of jobs. Besides, by the time any help arrives, it'll be too late." Naomi stood up, her chair scraping against the metal floor. "So we're just going to let it die? We don't even know what it is. It could be sentient, it could be dangerous." Martinez cut in. "We don't know anything about it. For all we know, this could be exactly why its own species abandoned it here." The debate raged for hours, but in the end, practicality won out over ethics. The egg was moved to an isolated storage chamber, and the tunnel was marked for standard mining operations. They would let nature take its course, but Naomi couldn't let it go. Every off-shift, she found herself drawn to the storage chamber, watching the weakening pulses of light. She talked to it, played music through her suit's speakers, even read aloud from the outpost's limited entertainment library. "I'm sorry," she whispered one night, her hand pressed against the crystalline surface. "We're supposed to be better than this. We're supposed to be explorers, discovering new worlds, new life, not abandoning it to die alone in the dark." That's, when she felt it, a response. Not through her sensors or instruments, but in her mind. A feeling of warmth, of understanding, and something else. Determination. The next morning, when Dr. Patel checked his readings, he was stunned. "The nutrient depletion has slowed dramatically," he reported. "It's adapting. Somehow it's altering its own biological processes to survive on the minimal energy it can absorb from our facility's power grid." Director Jackson frowned at the data. "Is that possible?" "It shouldn't be," Dr. Patel admitted. "But we're dealing with an alien life form. Our understanding of what's possible may not apply." Over the next few weeks, the egg's glow stabilized. The creature inside began to change, its structure shifting and evolving in ways that defied their scientific understanding. It was no longer merely surviving, it was transforming. It's using our power emissions, the asteroid's mineral composition, even the background radiation, Dr. Patel explained, his voice filled with wonder. It's not just adapting to survive in this environment, it's adapting to thrive in it. Naomi spent every free moment observing these changes, documenting everything. The mental connection she'd felt that first night grew stronger. She began to receive impressions, not quite thoughts, but feelings, images, a growing awareness. Then came the day when the egg's light changed from blue to a brilliant gold. The crystalline surface began to crack, and everyone on the outpost held their breath, waiting to see what they had unconsciously helped create. No one could have predicted what emerged, a creature that would change humanity's understanding of life itself, and prove that sometimes abandonment doesn't lead to death, but to extraordinary evolution. 3 months after the egg's hatching, Outpost Theta 7 had changed beyond recognition. The creature that emerged, dubbed Nova by the crew, had grown at an exponential rate, its body continuously adapting to its harsh environment. Where they had expected weakness from deprivation, they found strength born of necessity. Dr. Kamal Patel stood behind a reinforced observation window, recording his daily observations. Day 92 since emergence. Subject continues to demonstrate unprecedented biological adaptation. Current length approximately 12 meters, with a unique exoskeleton composed of crystalline structures similar to its egg casing. Nova moved through the expanded chamber they'd cleared for it, its serpentine body flowing like liquid metal. The creature's scales had developed into a lattice of translucent crystals that captured and processed energy from any available source. Its wings, when extended, resembled solar panels made of living tissue. "It's beautiful," Naomi whispered, standing beside Dr. Patel. She'd been promoted to lead researcher on the Nova project, her connection with the creature proving invaluable. "Watch this." She pressed her hand against the window, and Nova immediately turned toward her, its iridescent eyes focusing with keen intelligence. The creature's head, elegant and angular, bore little resemblance to Earth's mythical dragons. Instead, it seemed to have evolved specifically for its environment. Sensors where ears might be, crystalline protrusions that could capture and process various forms of energy, and a brain case that had tripled in size since hatching. The most fascinating aspect, Dr. Patel noted, is its ability to restructure its biology in response to environmental challenges. When we introduced different energy frequencies to its chamber, it developed new crystalline formations to absorb them. It's not just surviving, it's optimizing itself. Director Jackson entered the observation room, his expression troubled. "Corporate's getting suspicious. Our power consumption is off the charts, and Martinez's security reports are raising red flags. We can't keep this quiet much longer." "We don't need to," Naomi argued, turning from the window. "Look at what Nova's teaching us about adaptation, about evolution. This could revolutionize our understanding of—" A sudden surge of emotion flooded her mind, stopping her mid-sentence. Over the months, her psychic connection with Nova had strengthened, becoming more precise. Now she felt urgency, concern, and something else. Anticipation. "It's trying to tell us something," she said, pressing both hands against the glass. Nova moved closer, its crystalline body pulsing with patterns of light that they'd learned to recognize as a form of communication. Dr. Patel rushed to his instruments. "The energy readings are spiking. It's doing something new." The creature's body began to emit a soft humming sound, and its crystalline structures vibrated in harmony. The observation room's lights flickered as Nova seemed to draw power from the outpost systems, but instead of absorbing it, it was transforming it. "Look," Director Jackson pointed at the creature's chest, where a new formation was taking shape. The crystals there had become almost transparent, revealing complex structures within that pulsed with energy. "It's not just adapting anymore," Dr. Patel breathed, his instruments forgotten as he watched in awe. It's innovating, creating entirely new biological systems we've never seen before. The humming reached a crescendo, and suddenly the air in Nova's chamber shimmered with visible energy patterns. The creature had somehow learned to manipulate the electromagnetic field around itself, creating what their instruments registered as a localized space-time distortion. Impossible, Director Jackson muttered. It's generating its own gravitational field. Naomi felt another surge through her mental link, this time a mixture of satisfaction and invitation. It wants to show us something, she said, moving toward the chamber's airlock. It's been working toward this, planning it. Rhodes, wait. Martinez's voice came through the intercom as she rushed into the observation room. We don't know what it's capable of. It could be dangerous. But Naomi had already sealed her environment suit and was cycling through the airlock. The others watched, hearts in their throats, as she entered Nova's chamber. The creature lowered its massive head to her level, and the crystalline formations across its body pulsed in complex patterns. Through their connection, Naomi received not just emotions now, but clear images and concepts. What she saw made her gasp. It's not just evolving physically, she said through her comm. It's intelligence. It's understanding. It's been studying us as much as we've been studying it, and it's figured out something incredible. Nova's body shifted, the crystalline structures realigning themselves into new configurations. The gravitational distortion intensified, and for a moment the very fabric of space seemed to bend around the creature. Director? Naomi's voice was filled with wonder. I don't think we need to worry about corporate anymore. Nova hasn't just adapted to survive in space, it's figured out how to traverse it, and it wants to show us how. Dr. Patel's instruments were recording everything, documenting the impossible. The abandoned alien egg they'd left to die hadn't just survived. It had evolved into something beyond their wildest expectations. A creature that could potentially revolutionize space travel. A bridge between biology and physics that defied their understanding of both. As Nova demonstrated its newfound abilities, creating controlled gravitational fields and micro-wormholes in its chamber, the crew of Outpost Theta-7 realized they were witnessing more than just an evolutionary miracle. They were seeing the birth of a new era in human-alien relations, one where cooperation and mutual growth would replace fear and abandonment. And through her mental link, Naomi understood that this was just the beginning. Nova hadn't evolved simply to survive. It had evolved to thrive, to explore, and most importantly, to share its discoveries with the very species that had once left it to die. The message from Earth Command was exactly what Director Jackson had feared. Theta-7, you are ordered to cease all operations and prepare for immediate quarantine. Corporate oversight team arriving in 48 hours. The director switched off the transmission and looked around the conference room at his core team. Dr. Patel was furiously typing notes into his tablet, while Security Chief Martinez paced the room. Naomi sat quietly, her eyes distant, likely communicating with Nova through their now sophisticated mental link. They'll try to take control of Nova, Martinez said, stopping her pacing. Probably classify everything and turn this into a military research facility. They can try. Naomi spoke softly, a slight smile playing on her lips. Through the observation window, Nova's massive form shifted in its chamber, crystalline scales refracting light in complex patterns. The creature had grown to nearly 20 meters in length, its body a masterpiece of evolved engineering. Dr. Patel cleared his throat. Actually, there's something you all need to see. He projected a holographic display in the center of the conference room. These are Nova's latest energy readings. It's not just generating localized gravitational fields anymore. It's creating stable quantum entanglement points across space. The technical data scrolled past, but what caught everyone's attention were the visual recordings. Nova's chamber had become a laboratory of spectacular phenomena. Microscopic wormholes opening and closing, points of space folding in on themselves, and streams of energy being channeled and transformed through the creature's crystalline body. Nova's been trying to show me something, Naomi said, standing to manipulate the hologram. It's not just random experiments, there's a pattern, a purpose to all of this. As if responding to her words, Nova pressed closer to the observation window. its iridescent eyes, now capable of perceiving multiple spectrums of radiation, focused on the gathered humans. The creature's crystalline structures began to pulse with coherent light, forming complex geometric patterns. Dr. Patel's instruments lit up. It's broadcasting something. Not just electromagnetic signals, but quantum information? Naomi gasped as her mind filled with images and concepts far beyond anything Nova had shared before. It's not just showing us its abilities, she said, her voice filled with wonder. It's teaching us how to understand them. The quantum fields, the gravitational manipulation, they're all part of something bigger. Through their mental link, Nova shared visions of distant stars, of space itself bending and folding like origami. But more than that, it shared understanding. Complex mathematical principles began flowing into Naomi's mind, not as abstract formulas, but as intuitive concepts, translated through Nova's unique perspective. "Director," she said urgently, "Nova isn't just some stranded alien specimen. It's a key to understanding the universe in ways we never imagined, and it's choosing to share this knowledge with us." "But why?" Martinez asked, her hand unconsciously moving away from her weapon for the first time since Nova had hatched. Why help the species that abandoned it? The answer came not just to Naomi, but to everyone in the room. Nova had evolved beyond the need for revenge or resentment. In its isolation, it had developed not just incredible physical abilities, but a profound understanding of existence itself. And with that understanding came a simple truth. Growth comes from connection, not conflict. Through its unique evolution, Nova had gained the ability to perceive reality in ways that bridged the gap between organic life and the fundamental forces of the universe. It could see the quantum threads that connected all things, the hidden dimensions that humans had only theorized about, and now it wanted to share that vision. It's preparing us, Naomi realized, as more information flowed through their connection. Something's coming, not a threat but an opportunity. Nova's detected quantum disturbances at the edge of our solar system. Other entities, similar to what it has become, are out there, and they're noticing us. Dr. Patel's instruments confirmed it, subtle quantum fluctuations that their standard equipment would never have detected, but that Nova could perceive clearly. The creature hadn't just evolved to survive in space, it had evolved to become a bridge between species, between ways of understanding the universe. Director Jackson stood slowly, looking at the magnificent being they had once considered abandoning. "How long until the corporate team arrives?" 46 hours, Martinez replied. "Then we have 46 hours to make a decision," he said. "Do we let them take control of this discovery, or do we trust in what Nova's trying to show us?" The creature's response came through Naomi's link with crystal clarity. Nova hadn't spent months evolving and learning just to be confined in a corporate laboratory. It had greater plans, plans that could transform humanity's place in the cosmos. "It wants to take us on a journey," Naomi announced, understanding flooding through her. "Not just physical space travel, but a journey of discovery. Everything it's learned, everything it's become, it's offering to teach us, not as subjects or experiments, but as partners." The crystalline chambers in Nova's body pulsed with increasing intensity, and the air in its chamber began to shimmer with quantum possibilities. Through their strengthening connection, it shared visions of what could be. Humans and evolved beings like itself exploring the quantum depths of space together, each bringing their unique perspectives to unlock the universe's deepest mysteries. As the outpost crew watched in awe, Nova began to demonstrate just a fraction of what that partnership could mean. It was time for humanity to make a choice. Cling to control and fear, or embrace an evolution of understand time was running out. With 18 hours left before the corporate oversight team's arrival, Outpost Theta 7 hummed with nervous energy. In Nova's chamber, the quantum disturbances had intensified, creating auroras of impossible colors that danced across the creature's crystalline scales. "These readings are off the charts," Dr. Patel announced, his instruments struggling to process the data. "The quantum field fluctuations are becoming more organized, more purposeful. It's like like Nova's preparing for something big. Through their now profound mental connection, Naomi understood exactly what was happening. "It's not just preparing," she said, watching as Nova's massive form shifted and rippled with energy. "It's evolving again, but this time it's trying to show us how to evolve with it." Director Jackson stood at the main observation window, his reflection ghostly against the quantum light show beyond. "Martinez, what's our status?" Security Chief Martinez consulted her tactical display. "Corporate's advanced team is already in system. They've deployed quantum dampening fields, standard procedure for containing unknown biological entities." She paused, her expression grim. "They're not coming to study Nova, sir. They're coming to contain it." Nova's response to this information was unexpected. Instead of fear or anger, it projected a sense of urgency tinged with excitement. Through their link, Naomi received a flood of images and concepts that made her gasp. It's been waiting for this, she realized. The quantum dampening fields, they're exactly what Nova needs to demonstrate something incredible. She turned to Dr. Patel. "Remember how it adapted to every challenge we presented? Each new obstacle just gave it another way to evolve?" Dr. Patel's eyes widened as he understood. "The corporate containment protocols will be the catalyst for what Nova's been trying to teach us," Naomi finished. Nova's crystalline body pulsed with increasing intensity, and suddenly the air in the chamber began to shimmer with quantum possibilities. Through their connection, it shared its plan, not in words, but in pure understanding. "Director," Naomi said urgently, "we need to make a decision now. Nova isn't just offering us a chance to study it anymore. It's offering us a chance to become something more, to evolve beyond what we think is possible." The creature had spent months not just adapting to survive, but learning to bridge the gap between organic life and quantum reality. Now it wanted to share that knowledge, not by being dissected in a corporate lab, but by teaching humanity to transcend its own limitations. Director Jackson looked around at his crew. What exactly is it proposing? Through their link, Nova showed Naomi visions of what could be. She struggled to put the magnificent concepts into words. It's discovered something fundamental about consciousness and quantum reality. The crystalline structures it evolved, they're not just for absorbing energy. They're quantum processors, bridges between mind and matter. And it can teach us how to develop our own. "You're talking about human evolution," Martinez said skeptically. "Biological transformation?" "More than that," Dr. Patel interjected, his instruments revealing new patterns in Nova's quantum field. "It's offering us a way to understand and interact with the universe on a fundamental level. The ability to perceive and manipulate quantum states directly, just as it does." Nova's chamber erupted in a display of quantum phenomena that made their previous observations seem primitive. Points of spacetime bent and folded, microscopic wormholes flickered in and out of existence, and streams of pure energy flowed through the creature's crystalline lattice. Through their connection, Naomi felt Nova's invitation extend beyond just her now. The creature had learned to project its quantum-enhanced consciousness, offering glimpses of its understanding to everyone in the room. For a brief moment, they all saw reality as Nova did, a magnificent tapestry of interconnected quantum states, alive with possibilities. "The corporate team will be here in 16 hours, Martinez reported, her voice soft with awe from what she'd just experienced. "Once they activate their containment fields, they won't be containing anything," Naomi said with certainty. "They'll be witnessing the next step in human evolution. Nova's been preparing for this moment, gathering energy, perfecting its understanding. When they try to contain it, it will use their own quantum dampening field as a catalyst," Dr. Patel finished, understanding dawning in his eyes. "The field will create exactly the conditions Nova needs to demonstrate its discovery on a larger scale." Director Jackson straightened, his uniform, decision made. "Then we have 16 hours to prepare, not for containment but for transformation." He turned to his crew. This isn't just about protecting Nova anymore. It's about choosing the future of our species. The creature's response was immediate and powerful. Its crystalline body began to reconfigure, creating new structures that pulsed with quantum potential. Through their expanding mental connection, it shared not just knowledge but a vision of what humanity could become. Beings capable of perceiving and navigating the quantum realm, of understanding the universe in ways their current science could barely imagine. As the outpost crew began their preparations, Nova's chamber became a nexus of quantum possibility. The abandoned alien entity they had once left to die was about to give humanity its greatest gift, the key to their own evolution. And when the corporate team arrived with their containment protocols, they would find not a specimen to be studied, but a doorway to a new era of human existence. The countdown to transformation had begun, and in 16 hours, everything would change. The bridge between species that Nova had become was about to transform into a bridge between realities, offering humanity a chance to transcend its own limitations and step into a quantum future. The corporate oversight team arrived exactly on schedule, their ships bristling with containment technology. As they initiated their quantum dampening fields, Outpost Theta 7 was bathed in an eerie, shimming light. But inside Nova's chamber, something extraordinary was already unfolding. "Quantum containment fields at full power," announced the corporate lead scientist Dr. Victoria Hayes, her voice tight with authority. "Prepare for specimen isolation," and she stopped mid-sentence, staring through the observation window at the scene before her. Nova's crystalline body had become translucent, each scale a window into quantum reality. The dampening fields, rather than constraining the creature, were being absorbed and transformed. Through its evolved structures, the energy was being channeled into something never before seen in human science. "What is this?" Dr. Hayes demanded, turning to Director Jackson. "Your reports mentioned nothing about..." "Because what you're seeing isn't about containment or control." Naomi stepped forward, her eyes reflecting the quantum lights that now filled the chamber. "It's about evolution." Through their enhanced mental link, Nova shared with Naomi the final piece of its gift. The quantum dampening fields had created the perfect conditions, a momentary pause in normal spacetime that the creature could use to demonstrate its discovery. As the corporate team watched in stunned silence, Nova began its most incredible transformation yet. The creature's crystalline scale started resonating at quantum frequencies, creating harmonics that rippled through reality itself. Dr. Patel's instruments registered impossible readings as spacetime began to fold and unfold around Nova's form. "The dampening fields," he exclaimed. "They're not containing the quantum effects, they're amplifying them. Nova's using them to create a stable quantum interface between organic consciousness and fundamental reality." Through their connection, Naomi felt Nova's satisfaction. This was what it had been preparing for all along. Not just to show humanity what was possible, but to give them the means to achieve it themselves. The air in the chamber crystallized into geometric patterns of pure energy. Where the corporate team had expected to find a specimen to study, they instead witnessed the birth of a new form of existence, a bridge between organic life and quantum reality. "It's offering us a choice," Naomi explained as Nova's consciousness touched everyone in the room. "Not to be contained or studied, but to evolve, to understand the universe as it does." Dr. Hayes stepped closer to the window, her scientific skepticism warring with the evidence before her eyes. "This is impossible. Consciousness can't directly interact with quantum states. The coherence wouldn't..." But Nova was already proving her wrong. Through its crystalline structures, it demonstrated how consciousness could indeed bridge the quantum realm. The creature had evolved beyond the need for traditional physical forms, becoming something that existed simultaneously in normal space and quantum reality. "This is what it learned in isolation," Dr. Patel said softly, understanding dawning in his eyes. "Not just how to survive, but how to transcend the very boundaries of existence." The quantum light show intensified, and suddenly everyone present felt what Naomi had experienced over the past months, the touch of Nova's consciousness but now expanded, refined, offering not just communication but transformation. Through this connection, Nova shared its final gift, the understanding of how human consciousness could evolve to perceive and interact with quantum reality directly. It wasn't just about physical changes, but a fundamental shift in how humanity could exist within the universe. The crystalline structures, Dr. Hayes whispered, her scientific mind finally grasping the magnitude of what she was witnessing. They're not just for energy absorption. They're quantum consciousness processors. And now it's showing us how to develop our own, Naomi finished. Not through technology or external manipulation, but through guided evolution. A gift from a being we once abandoned, offering us the key to the quantum realm. The corporate containment team stood down, their equipment repurposed by Nova into tools of transformation rather than constraint. In the days that followed, Outpost Theta 7 became not a research facility but a teaching center. Nova, the once abandoned alien entity, became humanity's guide to a new stage of evolution. As weeks turned to months, the first human transformations began. Under Nova's guidance, people learned to develop their own quantum-sensitive structures, their consciousness expanding to perceive and interact with reality in entirely new ways. The crystalline patterns that had once been unique to Nova began appearing in modified forms within human biology, creating bridges between classical and quantum existence. Director Jackson stood with Naomi in the observation room 1 year later, watching as another group of humans underwent their quantum awakening. The chamber that had once housed a dying alien egg now served as a gateway to humanity's transcendent future. "Did you ever imagine," he asked, "when we first found that egg, that it would lead to this?" Naomi smiled, her own partially crystalline form catching the quantum light. Nova knew. Even when we abandoned it, it chose to turn that isolation into an opportunity for growth, and now it's helping us do the same.